This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD.
Have you all seen that TikTok by the Chinese guy exposing how luxury goods are actually made? Basically, he says most of the luxury brands we use every day are actually made in China.
Don't stop. I want it. Don't throw it. I don't care how much you hate it. Give me it. I'll take it. No!
Are you looking for jewelry supplier from China? Bracelets $2, earring $1, necklace $2, bros $2.
Louis Vuitton thought it had the luxury game on lock. For decades, they ran the streets and the runways, quietly collecting billions while selling us dreams wrapped in monogrammed leather. They weren't just a brand, they were a lifestyle. The logo itself meant something. Power, status, untouchable luxury. But now they're getting torched on TikTok by the very hands that helped build their empire. Chinese factory workers just flipped the script. And baby, it's ugly. It started with a whisper, a single video, a low-quality clip shot inside a bag factory in China. A woman standing in front of a stack of what looked like real-deal Louis Vuitton handbags, casually dropping the kind of tea that would send shockwaves through Paris, New York, and Milan all at once. This is where your bag comes from. You paid $2,000. We made it for $15. Boom. TikTok exploded. Suddenly, your favorite influencers weren't posting outfit of the day flexes. They were posting rage. Comment sections turned into battlefields. People demanding answers. People walking into LV stores not to buy, but to confront. And through it all, Louis Vuitton stayed silent. Then defensive. Then messy. Because here's what happened. China didn't just expose the game. They clapped back. See, while the US was trying to flex with tariffs and trade restrictions, Chinese suppliers said bet.
We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause.
So this was the deal that the White House was referring to. The United States and China have agreed to drastically roll back tariffs for a period of 90 days. This was announced in a press conference in Geneva. We heard from the U.S. Treasury Secretary as well as the U.S. Trade Representative. It was also revealed in a joint statement issued by the U.S. and China, a rare joint statement because the last one they did so on trade was back in 2018. Now, according to this deal, this is what we know. The United States will lower tariffs on some Chinese goods from 145% to 30%. China will lower tariffs on U.S. goods from 125% to 10%. We've been monitoring the markets for reaction. There is a lot of positivity out there as investors consider everything that was achieved during that weekend of trade talks in Geneva.
Instead of rolling over, they rolled the receipts right onto the internet. And just like that, factory workers stopped being invisible. They became whistleblowers with Wi-Fi. And those receipts? Whew! They weren't just calling out Louis Vuitton, they were dragging everybody. Adidas, Nike, Timberland, even Under Armour caught astray. Workers started dropping video after video, naming factories, pointing out logos, zooming in on order tags, and showing viewers, right there on their phones, exactly how luxury goods are made. No PR, no runway lighting, just the raw, unfiltered truth. Most of your favorite made-in-Europe brands are actually made in China, and sometimes under the same roof as the $30 replicas. But Louis Vuitton, they were the main dish. People were stunned to learn that over 50% of Louis Vuitton's bags, the same ones they spent mortgage money on, are manufactured in China, and not in secret labs, in straight-up public mass production factories. Workers came out saying they produced thousands of LV bags a week, each costing around $15 to make. Yup, $15. That's what it costs to cook up that bag you paid $300-400 for. Let that sizzle in your brain. And the cherry on top? After the bags are made in China, they get sent to Europe just so someone can sew in a tiny Made in France label. That's it. No redesign, no artisan, just a rebrand. A lie. A $2,000 illusion. This wasn't just a little PR hiccup like Balenciaga's teddy bear disaster. Nah.
They're the videos seen by millions of Americans.
Let's not be poisoned and misled by the market campaign any longer.
That seem too good to be true.
We have like thousands of them in stock.
TikTokers claiming to work at Chinese factories that make high-end products and offering to sell them directly to Americans for much, much cheaper. The goods range from Birkenstocks,
$10
$10.
to Nike sneakers
Hello, boss. I'm a Nike shoes wholesale factory in China.
and Lululemon workout clothing.
Who are the suppliers behind Lululemon?
One video garnering 11.9 million views.
Here in these two factories, you can get
This was a full-blown identity crisis. Louis Vuitton, the crown jewel of the luxury world, just got exposed as a glorified middleman with an attitude problem. Because when the news broke, what did Louis Vuitton do? They didn't show transparency. They didn't open the factory doors. They didn't post a heartfelt letter from Bernard Arnault, their billionaire CEO. Nah, they went ghost, then shady. They quietly raised their prices. While customers were in a full-blown meltdown online, LV snuck in a 3% to 6% price hike across their whole product line. Bags, perfumes, wallets, no press release, no courtesy email, just boom, $300 more for the same damn bag. And let's talk about timing. Luxury brands like Hermes at least gave folks a heads up before raising their prices. They said, hey y'all, prices go up on May 1st, shop now if you want. Respectable. But Louis Vuitton, they just waited until you were at the register, pulled a slick one, and watched your face as that total jumped. And this ain't the first time. Remember 2020, when the world was locked down and people were saving money, not spending? LV said, perfect, let's cash in. They blamed it on supply chain disruptions and raw material costs. But the truth? They saw a window and they took it. And now, with factories being outed left and right, they still trying to cash out while dodging every question thrown their way. Meanwhile, Chinese manufacturers are out here giving tutorials, literal step-by-step guides on how to spot if your LV bag was made in China. They're dropping vendor lists, warehouse addresses, and full spreadsheets. You can now buy the same bags from the same factories without the LV stamp, and it'll cost you a fraction of the retail price. It's not bootlegging anymore. It's called OEM, Original Equipment Manufacturer. Translation: same factory, same material, just no overpriced logo. And the internet? It's loving it. Still, not everyone's mad. Some folks don't care if the bag was made on Mars. As long as that LV logo's shining, they're good. It's about the clout, the look, the flex. But even they gotta admit, this whole situation is messy. And it gets messier. Louis Vuitton didn't just stop at shady silence and sneaky markups.
get them for around $5 to $6.
But Lululemon says the claims made in the videos are not true. Though the company says it manufactures about 3% of its finished goods in China, a spokesperson telling NBC News, Lululemon does not work with the manufacturers identified in the online videos, and we urge consumers to be aware of potentially counterfeit products and misinformation. Authentic Lululemon products are only available for purchase at our Lululemon store locations, registered Lululemon e-commerce sites, and select authorized and specialty stores. And if you were tempted by that super cheap Louis Vuitton handbag,
Louis Vuitton has many Chinese suppliers, but they just don't admit it.
know that the company has long maintained its products are made only in Europe and the United States.
Word on the street is they're suing their own manufacturers. Yep, the same factories they've been using for years. Now that the tea's out, they want to cry, trade secret violation. Same goes for Hermes. They're allegedly hitting the same suppliers with lawsuits, claiming these factories helped bootleggers replicate their products too well. So basically, while China pulls back the curtain, Louis Vuitton is trying to close it with legal threats. But here's the problem. The receipts already hit the internet. You can't sue your way out of a viral expose. And the people? They're not buying the corporate gaslighting. Customers are asking real questions. Why can't we see your actual factories? Why haven't you proven these workers are lying? If Ferrari can show us how their engines are made, why can't y'all show us a damn handbag? Because it ain't about craft, it's about image. Louis Vuitton ain't selling leather. They're selling perception. And right now, that perception's cracking. Even their boss, Bernard Arnault, is feeling it. Word is, the billionaire CEO of LVMH might be stepping down way earlier than planned. He once said he'd hold down the empire till he was 85. But now? At 76, rumors say he's looking for the exit. Between the lawsuits, the leaked production files, the price hikes, and the $9 billion he just lost in one morning from a stock drop, he might be trying to ghost before the whole thing caves in. And this ain't just about Louis Vuitton anymore. This is about every luxury brand skating on reputation while hiding their real source. Chanel? silent, Dior, watching. Hermes, already sweating. Because once you pull that designer curtain back, there's no going back. People are woke now. They've seen the numbers. They've seen the $15 bag. They've seen the receipts. And no matter how many statements Louis Vuitton puts out, no matter how many lawsuits they file, the trust, it's cracked. And once the illusion breaks, it's a wrap. Louis Vuitton might have survived a scandal or two in the past, but what they're up against now? This ain't your average PR nightmare.
As it currently states on its website, Louis Vuitton, Nike, and Birkenstock have not responded to our request for comment.
Besides price, I think even more important is the authenticity of the product, the quality of it.
Professor Shen Liu, whose research focuses on the global apparel industry, including international trade policy, says even if the factory did produce that hot handbag you want, they likely would not be licensed to sell it outside of its contract with the brand you know.
They do not only control where they source their products, but also they control where consumers can buy their products.
Shen encourages shoppers to beware of the context in which these misleading offers have surfaced. They come amid an onslaught of memes, many of them appearing to be AI-generated, coming out of Chinese social media as the trade war rages on. From this video mocking the idea of Americans, or at least a caricature of Americans doing low-wage factory work.
This is a full-on brand-destroying, credibility-shattering storm. And the fuel? A $15 price tag and a TikTok timeline. Welcome to the era where secrets don't stay secret and luxury lies get leaked on your FYP. When the first video dropped from that Chinese factory showing Louis Vuitton bags being assembled with machine precision, factory lines, and none of the handcrafted European excellence we were sold, nobody expected it to explode like this. But it did. And the fire ain't dying down. It's spreading. Because the truth hit different. Luxury ain't what we thought. That pristine boutique bag, the one you carried like it was your identity, suddenly looks real clownish when you find out it was born next to 10,000, just like it in a Guangdong warehouse. No Paris atelier, no master artisan. Just production quotas, industrial glue, and corporate lies. And it's not just Louis Vuitton anymore. The tea spilled by Chinese factory workers opened up a Pandora's box. Word is Hermes got caught too. Burberry, Gucci, even Balenciaga. All of them shook, all of them quiet. Some still pretending like the internet didn't just burn their whole narrative to the ground. But let's stay focused on the headliner, Louis Vuitton. After the receipts dropped, what did they do? They didn't own up, they didn't offer transparency, they pulled the most predictable corporate move in the book. They lawyered up. Next thing you know, they're suing the very factories that made their bags for years, alleging breach of contract, trade secret violations, and even accusing them of double dipping, making LV bags by day and running counterfeit operations by night. Now, let's be real. If that last part is true, if those factories were out here printing real bags during the day and knockoffs after dark, whew, that's the wildest twist in luxury fashion history. And honestly, with how this whole story's gone, it wouldn't be the craziest thing we've heard. But here's the catch. Louis Vuitton still hasn't provided proof. No factory tour, no worker interviews, no receipts clearing their name. Nothing but lawsuits and silence.
To this one that says the cards the US is playing were made in China. And even the Chinese embassy based in DC blasting everything from American transportation to high price tags. This trade war turned internet beef doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
And Camila joins us now. I mean, look, I love a sale. We all love a deal. Is there any way for consumers to fact check specific TikToks if they're claiming to be suppliers for some favorite brand of ours?
There is, and they should, because Lululemon, for example, has a list of all of their suppliers online, and it shows who they are, what exactly they do, and where they operate. So if you have any doubts, you should check the Lululemon website or any brand that you're trying to shop for and try to fact check yourself, because you might be able to do just that. If you have any doubts, you keep checking the internet, because the reality is that if it looks too good to be true, Ellison, it probably is.
Yeah, that always seems to be true, right? Camila Bernal, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Meanwhile, the factories they're suing, they're out here dropping tutorials, lists, video walkthroughs, vendor spreadsheets, and the internet is eating it up. People now know where to go to get the exact same leather, same stitching, same buckles, just minus the overpriced logo. The demand for OEM bags is booming. Telegram groups, Discord servers, and WhatsApp circles are full of people swapping contacts and cutting out the middleman. TikTokers showing you how to go straight to the source. And guess what? They're doing it proudly. This ain't bootlegging, this is a movement. The $15 revolution. See, it's not just about fashion anymore, it's about flipping the power dynamic. For decades, luxury houses manipulated us into believing their products were sacred, that exclusivity meant quality. They inflated their prices, built walls of mystery, and flexed their names while we swiped our cards and thanked them for the privilege. But the internet smashed all that. TikTok shattered the illusion. And now consumers are finally asking the questions that should have been asked a long time ago. Why does a $15 bag cost $3,000? Why lie about where it's made? Why are we paying for status instead of substance? And the luxury giants, they got no answers, just deflections. Even Louis Vuitton's parent company, LVMH, is sweating. Their stock has dipped. Bernard Arnault, the big boss, the world's second richest man, is watching his empire crumble one TikTok at a time. Word is he lost $9 billion in a single morning after first quarter sales flopped. And now, rumors are flying that he might retire early, even though he swore he'd stay till 85. He's only 76. Translation: he's getting out while he still can. Because let's not get it twisted, this scandal isn't just about where the bags were made, it's about the game luxury brands played for too long. The deception, the manipulation, the fake scarcity, the aggressive markups hidden behind fancy stores and champagne launches. And now that the curtain's pulled back, it's looking real nasty. The lawsuit Louis Vuitton filed isn't just about breach of contract, it's about control. They want the leaks to stop, they want the factories to shut up, they want to scare every other worker into silence. But it's too late. The damage is done, the receipts are out, the genie's not going back in the monogrammed bottle. And meanwhile, China, they're not backing down. These leaks weren't accidental. They're part of a bigger flex, a power play in a global trade war. America wanted to hit with tariffs? Cool. China responded by reminding the world, y'all can't make edged tea without us. And they proved it. They didn't just show us how Louis Vuitton works behind the scenes. They showed us how every major fashion house depends on Chinese manufacturing. They've been building our clothes, our shoes, our flex pieces for decades. And they've been doing it with precision, quality, and speed, all while being talked down to and dismissed as sweatshop labor. But now, they're speaking for themselves. And the world's listening. Even fashion media, long loyal to luxury brands, can't ignore the shift. Bloggers who once got flown out to Paris for runway shows are now posting exposés. Influencers are ditching sponsored deals to talk about the real supply chain. Gen Z consumers are ditching the logo for knowledge, choosing informed purchases over clout. And the brands that don't adapt, they'll fade, fast. Because in 2025, transparency is the new flex. The power's shifted, and Louis Vuitton, with all its lawsuits and price hikes and arrogance, is officially behind the curve. They thought their name was untouchable, but turns out the only thing untouchable is the truth. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content from us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this.